How are we doing today? As you can see, my account is manually locked out, and we have red up here. How red? Negative $266. So it's not negative 400, and it's not negative 1,000. It's not negative $2,000. The account's not blown. And there's kind of a lot to go over today. I'll pull up the live video of my trades, go over what I could have done better, and what I did well, stuff like that. But before I get into all that, I kind of want to just say how that, or just kind of, mention how I followed all my rules today, which is, not risking more than 200 per trade, not taking more than 2 losses, or even 2 trades, not taking more than 2 trades, and just locking myself out after that no matter what. And I have to say that after the second loss, my first reaction was I want to make more back. I want to not be done trading, but I didn't even really have to think about it. I just kind of went up and locked my account out because I was like, rules are rules. If I'm tired of not sticking to my rules. I'm tired of embarrassing my self, not even to you guys, but just to myself. Like, I'm tired of embarrassing myself and just having $1,000 losing days because there's literally no reason ever to hit a max loss limit. There's no reason to ever lose more than you ever plan on, right? I come into the day where at worst case scenario, I lose $400. Worst case, right? We didn't even do that. I know that going into the day, absolute worst case scenario, I lose $400. So there is never a reason for me to ever show up to any day and lose more than $400. And that's just embarrassing to myself if I do. So knowing that, today was the first day that I was able to actually step away with a loss relatively easy, even though I still had some emotions, right? And I'll go over those that I wrote down. But losing, it's getting easier, right? And it's easier when I have a plan and when I have rules and when I'm focused on following my rules. But I'm not gonna lie, it does still bother me, right? It still was like the account's only at 1,084 now. And, not getting any closer to passing, but, I'm literally one trade away tomorrow from making back my loss and being in profit, right? I made 300 on my trade on Friday, and I took 2 micros. Today I traded 2 trades. I lost twice with 3 micros, so 1 extra micro on each trade, so 2 micros extra total. So literally 1 whole position size extra. Like, if I traded on Friday with 2 micros, today I traded 2 extra micros than I did then on both trades. I ended up taking 6 micros basically and lost twice, spread over 2 losses, and I still lost less than on my win, right? And not much less, right? I made about $30 from Friday and today covering each other, but 2 losses, right? Taking 2 losses on the day, taking 2 losses on the day and being bigger size on both trades than I was, not risking more than 200, but bigger size than I took on Friday is really positive sign. And I wouldn't be able to do that if I kept sitting here trying to trade, right? If I kept trying to take trades here, wherever. I am floating a practice trade that is working, but look at the price action, right? I enter off this IFVG here because of ES. We have an SMT here, if you can see the divergence, right? So this is a good setup in my opinion, right? We have a singular fair value gap. We inverse here. I get in, but look at this price action. Look at this price action. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 13 minutes of just chopping here. We come up, we chop again. We come up, we chop again, right? This inverse needs to hold, in my opinion, for us to have any type of run on liquidity. But this is just wild price action to me. And now I would move the stop to break even. But this is just absurd price action. And there's a lot of things I'll go over. I just have TPs on each high. I picked the size because that I saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This daily fair value gap high 6, and then I have the external high. That's what I'm targeting. Doubt it gets there. That's just why I took 6 contracts. But anyways, back to just let's get onto the cleaner chart here. Back to this, right? It's frustrating, right? But I'm happy with how I handled a loss today, because normally, if anyone's been keeping up with the channel, I have a lot of bad days where it's not just taking losses, right? And losing is part of it, right? And I'll go over the trades I took, why I took them, but first I'll go over my daily bias that I wrote down before the market. I wrote down bullish bias, as I believe we are in a market maker buy model on the higher time frame. So what do I mean by that? Well, this is the manipulation move right here. We manipulate lower, hitting this sell side liquidity, right? We manipulate, we displace higher through this, so this becomes a manipulation leg. I drew standard deviation, lines up perfectly with this high. This doesn't really line up with anything besides equilibrium of that imbalance, but regardless, this is kind of my target. Why is it a market maker buy model? We have displacement up after putting in a nice low, right? We come down, we hold a bullish imbalance of the 4-hour fair value gap and this new week opening gap, right? We come in higher, we kind of chop. We manipulate Asia's low with London. We displace higher. I wanted to see us pull back. So that's the market maker model explained, right? I wanted to see us pull back down lower, but I continue. I will follow my rules, but not be afraid to place a trade, right? I didn't want to, and this goes into something in a second. I want to see a pullback off open, then a continuation to buy side. We could be slow today due to lack of news drivers this week so far, plus CPI tomorrow. Will be patient and let my trade come to me. So I recognize that CPI tomorrow could have us move slow, but I didn't want to be afraid to place a trade if I saw it because of news tomorrow. So maybe I can learn from that. Then I just wrote my affirmations. I follow my rules. I know how to trade. I am profitable. I know what to do. I am disciplined. I am confident. I hold my trades. I am patient. I don't care if I win or lose, or win or learn, and I am always learning and improving. That's what I wrote down. So that was my pre-market analysis. I wanted to see a pullback, and my main point of interest was this 30-minute fair value gap lining up with this new day opening gap. As you can see, we're here. The new day opening gap lines up perfectly, and that's why going into the market, right, we had this failure swing here, right, and then the black line is a target because it's the top of this daily imbalance right here. We're in this daily bearish fair value gap. I wanted to see us reach this and fill it all the way as one of my bullish levels, right, which I think we're drawing towards. But that being said, market came down off open. We come up, we sell off here, we sweep out these lows, we hold the new week opening gap, and we end up moving higher, right? We put in a very marginal SMT, but this did weigh into my trade, believe it or not. Like literally super marginal. Like if I look at this low, this is 722. This is 721.75. So literally a tick. One tick of a low gets put in, but it was an SMT nonetheless. And we put in this inverse. Dang it. I opened Premiere Pro. We put in this inverse fair value gap. I jump in long here. I'll go over I'll show the live execution right now in a second. It's still loading. But this was my entry here, targeting this high as one take profit, this high as another take profit, and then was going to leave runners to wherever I saw fit. But this is a valid trade in my opinion, because this is over 50 points. Oh wait, here we go. This was around 49 points, 50 points here. So that would have been $200 just hitting these take profits. And then if any runner hit, it would have been more. So I would have covered my RR for the day, which would have been great, right? And that would have been a great day. And we would have added $200 minimum plus $200 here plus Friday. So we'd be up $300 net instead of today we're only net $30. So, or we'd be net $500 minimum plus if the runners hit, right? So then market ends up coming up, right? I never moved to break even. I'll pull up that execution real quick before we go over the next trade. And so here it is. So we get into the trade here. I got in there right at the close. Take profit. Would have been 300 if we just took it all there. And I have my stop. I was measuring at $200. Also, we were in the macro time, so I did like that as well. These yellow lines here is the macro time. I forgot to mention that. So I zoom in to 15-second. Boom, we have a fair value gap that I like. So my stop loss placement was really just to mitigate risk. I was risking 150 originally, and I was going to sell 2 at this high, and then I changed it to 1 and 1. So the reason why I put my stop at this low here is because I just expected the fair value gap to hold. I'm not really sure. I think I moved it around. So I'll let the trade play out. Oh yeah, the standard deviation projection here, I do it off the manipulation, right? This leg down, it just kind of gives me a target in space to put a take profit. Nothing really too crazy there, nothing too serious. No real meaning behind it other than just giving myself a projection tool. And we actually do reach the -1, I believe. So if we were to scale at -1 or gone to break even, we would have been fine. But as you can see, the trade was up $170, $60. If I would have closed back like I used to, 180, right? That would be 190, 193. That's a nice day. That covers commission. That's more than I'm risking. But at the end of the day, if it was to run up here and I took out profits early, then I took profits early and it hurts myself in the long run. So over time, not taking profits here and getting stopped out will be the profitable decision. But it is frustrating because, you know, we could have scaled or gone to break even here. And one of the points I want to make later is that maybe I could have been more aggressive going to break even because of conditions today. I end up risking less, 117 here. I was risking just this inverse. And at this point, again, there's really nothing holding price to really I don't know. I don't really know if I mind going to break even here, but I wanted to give it some wiggle room because we did have an inverse on the 2-minute that I wanted to see maybe hold. And nothing was super alarming yet. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm cool with whatever happens here. Obviously, I hoped it played out, but maybe we were early, right? And this trade, looking back at now even, it's still, there's no real red flags to me about why it's too bad. I still think this is a decent trade. Again, I really just think maybe maybe just conditions today weren't very suitable. It's choppier conditions, right? As we can see with how price is playing out currently right now. But I don't hate this trade still, right? Maybe I could have just avoided, maybe I should risk a little less today, maybe 1 or 2 micros instead of 3. Who knows, right? But look, we even inversed this last 2-minute. This was very high confluence for me at this point. Right, there's nothing scary about this. This is just a little retracement into the 2-minute imbalance and to go higher. So I think it's, honestly, I hate to use the word unlucky, but just a little unlucky that didn't play out. And we'll just zoom forwards here. And I end up moving my stop loss to underneath this low because we end up holding this 1-minute imbalance that I drew out. And we end up closing above it. So I'm like, okay, cool. I think that this should be a low here. Probably shouldn't come back down and tap this. I'll just leave that there. And then market comes down and stops me out. So I really don't mind with how I traded this because we did dig back into this inverse that I originally entered off of. Cool. Nothing super scary there. And then we hold bullish inside this bullish imbalance. So I'm like, okay, cool. So maybe I just put my stop here. Maybe that's a little bit too micromanaging, but it would have still got stopped out regardless. And maybe I could have gone to break even quicker. So that was the first trade, and then I'll go over kind of how I was thinking. So after that, I was like, okay, cool. This is annoying, but right, because it kind of stopped me out to the tick here and was holding this inverse still pretty well. So I'll actually leave this inverse out. So we were still holding this inverse fair value gap. If we extended it out to here, right, we come down, hold again, boom, we hold again, right, we dig even deeper. So I zoomed in on the 30-second to give myself a better idea of what was going on. And here we had a bigger SMT. ES ends up taking this low. So now we actually have a more valid SMT than just this one tick SMT, right? We're still the bias of everything. We're in a 30-minute, coming out of a 30-minute, right? We displaced higher. We pulled back to this inverse that we've been holding. And then when we grab this inverse, the one mistake I made was I got in a little bit late up here. I should have got in on this close. But this was a very nice close to me with the SMT, with the overall narrative. And I jumped in. I could have jumped in better. I should have gotten in more about here or here even. But I actually chased a little bit, and I'll go over that. Nothing too crazy, but I'll show kind of the executions. And this would have been a fine trade here with the 3 micros. Would have been, if I scaled everything here, it would have been around 200. But I don't think I would scale everything there. My first take profit was these equal highs, which was 48 points. And honestly, I would just say, again, a little bit unlucky that we don't hit take profit. 4 points off, right? 4 points away from taking profit, and we didn't. So, I don't really, you know, it's just I don't want to blame conditions. I don't know what to blame. I don't know if I was wrong bias, whatever. I don't really think so, but this was a good inverse here with an SMT. The context was there. Again, maybe I failed to recognize that when this high gets taken out, I probably should go to break even here. The reason I think I didn't go to break even is simply because I chased price and my break even stop was here. And I didn't want to get stopped in a bullish imbalance, right, to see price go higher. So if I were to have gotten in what I probably should have right here, right, then maybe I've been more like, okay, cool, let's go to break even. And I would have lost a lot less on the trade. So being hesitant is an issue that regardless of did I get unlucky, did I not get unlucky, I was hesitant either way. And being hesitant made me either miss out on being break even or losing a little bit less. So I'll pull up that execution as well. And now it looks like our trade's starting to actually run here, which is nice on the practice. You know, it's always easier on the practice account than anything else. So that's funny. But so we've locked up $2,000 and we can't lose on this trade. And let's just see this take profit come in here. Will be kind of cool. So yeah, but actually, you know what? It does not matter since this is practice, right? But let's pull up the next execution so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. But yeah, so this is what I'm talking about and about the hesitation. So we get in here, right? Because I saw it start running. This is very poor because to this low where we should have got in was $100. So half of our risk was just basically from chasing price. We get an instant reaction, an instant follow through. This is just super good sign for me. And again, if I were to have gotten down here, I could probably scale one here and go to break even at this high because we're still in the macro, and then let my runner play to this high and then let my other runner go further. But because I got in late, it made my decision harder in terms of do I go to break even? Because look, we still have a massive imbalance, right? I started moving it, but I was like, you know what? I don't want to get stopped prematurely. I'm confident in this now. This is a great move up. Let's let it play out. And, you know, hindsight, I would have been saved by going to break even. I would have only lost like $100 today. And if I would have closed the trade here, I would have been break even on the day, but that's not what was going through my mind. Look, I was almost closing it, right? But I was like, you know what? There's nothing wrong with this. This is a great 1 minute close. Absolutely great, right? The only thing better would have been closing above this wick. We don't get that. So I'm like, okay, cool. Let's just let it play out. Let's see what happens. And we're risking 165. Again, I probably should have risked less, maybe moved to this amount here. I really didn't need to see it come down this far to know I was wrong. Again, if I was in here, I should definitely be at break even, I believe. Yeah, so just overall, just managed this kind of poorly. See, I was 5 points away from hitting my take profit, but I was like, look, there's nothing to be afraid of yet, right? I was tempted to go break even, but look how close the break even is to this fair value gap. We haven't even made the fair value gap yet. So then we make a 1 minute or a 30-second fair value gap, a massive one. I should have trailed my stop to this low here instead of losing the 160. But again, that's a little mistake on my part. And our take profit just hit on the trade. But, you know, there's really, you know, what can you do about it, right? I entered late, so I lost a lot more than we should have, right? Because I probably wouldn't have risked more than this anyways if we entered here. So it would have been a very marginal loss. Again, something I can do better. So although today I did get unlucky, I still made a lot of mistakes and still could have capitalized better or managed my position better. So I can't put all the blame on the market not playing out or anything like that because I still made executional errors. And I still, you know, I still just, you know, I made mistakes, right? And so even on a losing day, that's not really my fault, even though I made the decision to place trades, right? I just say that in terms of getting unlucky rather than, you know, because I do still think that it was just me failing to recognize market conditions rather than being unlucky. But regardless, that still has an impact on, you know, on my decision making. So I should have known, even just because it's CPI tomorrow doesn't mean I need to be afraid of every trade, but it doesn't make me need to realize and recognize conditions and accept loss more, right? Because even this move up, this is not effective. This is not good price action, right? We're slow climbing up. Nothing about this is good. Where's ES right now, right? Nothing about this is good, right? But that being said, again, if I were to have gotten in here with 3 micros, I would have been risking the low of that. I've been risking 15 points, so I would have lost a lot less. But again, it is what it is, right? There's really not much else I really want to say about the losses, even though it is frustrating, but I'm happy with sticking to my rules. So my journal for the rest of the day after the trades, and what I wrote down was bullish as it looks like a market maker buy model on the higher time frame. Waited for market to pull back off open. We came into a bullish 30-minute fair value gap and a new day opening gap being respected. We then got a very small SMT with the 1-minute IFVG for the first trade. Then the same idea and thought process with an SMT, a better SMT on the 30-second IFVG for second trade. That's just kind of like my analysis. What did I do well? Locked my account after the second trade loss. Took good setups with proper risk. Didn't close the trade early. Those are all the things I did good. What could I improve? Recognize the conditions being no news for the second day in a row on a Monday and Tuesday. I could have recognized that, is what I was saying. And then recognizing CPI tomorrow, so any trade today is less probable, so could have TP'd quicker and or break even quicker. And then I said be more okay with losing and not trading or not taking a trade today. And then I said reflections and emotions. Really hate losing. Feels like I lost all my momentum. In reality, it's part of the process. So even though it felt like the end of the world in a sense, even though I knew it wasn't, it is very frustrating to lose because then you see your account balance dwindling, right? Like I hate to see, I was at 1,300 and that feels a lot better than 1,080. It just is, it's just how it is. But that, regardless of that, it doesn't make any difference in the fact that, you know, we just show up tomorrow, and if we follow rules tomorrow, then we follow rules tomorrow. And we keep following our rules until you know, we're trading better and better, right? The results will come with me just focusing on proving, not focusing on the money. So where my account is doesn't matter at all in any way, shape, or form. It has no bearing on anything, but mentally it feels like this big thing of like, oh man, I just lost $260, whereas I should be focused on what could I learn from today and what did I do well, what do I need to fix, right? The hesitation on the entry, managing my position, being more careful, the no news, and also the CPI tomorrow, and recognizing conditions in that sense. And those are all things I can get better from and learn from. So again, just very overall positive experience, but it is annoying to lose because like everyone that trades, I want to be profitable and I want to make money now, but I have to put that behind me and worry about executing, which is what I'm doing. And our worst possible day to losing trades is less than our small, or not small, but less than a winner from Friday. And we're doing everything we need to do. Everything's going according to plan. No reason to panic. No reason to think I don't know what I'm doing, and I just need to come back stronger tomorrow. So hopefully you guys had a good day. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this breakdown. But you know, another loss. But again, we're starting to take better losses, and I'm starting to handle them better. Like my gut reaction was to want to make it back and to be upset, but my actual action, right? Because I'm starting to recognize and realize that my thoughts and my emotions aren't actually the reality, right? I can feel upset, I can feel angry, but I don't have to physically act on those emotions, right? I was angered, I was disappointed, I was sad, I was revengeful, but instead of acting on that and taking another trade and increasing my loss limit and everything else that I could have done negatively, I felt the emotions, recognized they were in my head, and recognized that what I'm doing on a bigger scale, which is following my rules and staying disciplined, is way more important than, you know, that little bit of anger or revengeness to make my trade back, right? So then I shut that side out and locked myself out. So we're just getting better and better with that. So I'm happy with that. But again, I'm disappointed with the day. But look at today's price, right? That's the last thing I really want to say is look at this. Regardless of this trade being a winner, right, and working out, we've hit this take profit minimum, right? That would be kind of like the first take profit if you were actually in this trade, right? I wouldn't scale here and here. But look how choppy this is. It's probably going to stop me at break even. Like, this is a range-bound day. And, you know, there's nothing really you can do about it. So I'm just going to actually even close this because I'm not even going to still sit there anymore. It doesn't really matter. But notice conditions today. And the best thing I always can say is hop on the 5-minute chart if you really want to know what was happening today with the conditions, right? I'm actually going to leave that. That'll be interesting if we bounce here. But notice the conditions today. When you hop on the 5-minute time frame, literally no fair value gaps besides this baby one, right? We don't make a single 5-minute fair value gap from market open till now. That is 2 hours of price action with no movement, right? We're sitting in with the candle bodies, we are sitting in an 85 point range, right? With the candle wicks, we are sitting in a 150 point range, right? And we've been in it for over 2 hours. So that being said, maybe we get opportunities at PM. I won't be around to trade it, but notice the day that I'm losing. What are the things I could have recognized? CPI tomorrow. No news for the first 2 days of the week, right? No imbalances being created on the 5-minute or 15-minute. Slow price action, right? No super clear price action and price structure to validate longs or shorts, right? So I can also recognize that and accept the loss too, because I was deciding to place trades. Made the decision to place trades in these conditions when I don't have to trade in these conditions. I don't have to be involved in this. And then I chose to do it. I made the decision, so that's on me. I take responsibility for that. Let's not just gloss over it. Let's learn from it. Okay, cool. The 5-minute looks like trash, right? No news, 2 days, the things I just mentioned. So then cool. Okay, I made a mistake. I lost. I took losses. I managed my risk good. If I'm not going to learn from it, if I just say all my losses are perfect losses and I never do anything wrong, then I'm obviously never going to get better. So yes, I didn't break any rules, but I still didn't trade well. Not trading well and breaking rules are two different things, right? You can not trade well and follow your rules, right? Because live time, I think the trades look good. I still don't hate the trades. I still understand why I took them. There's no, over leveraging, over trading, taking a bad setup, something I don't ever trade. Like, it was none of that, but I can still learn from the trade and still realize and recognize, okay, maybe this trade wasn't the best today because of this, and this. And that's basically the last thing I want to get at. So overall, very positive day. Again, very frustrating to lose because this is a day I could probably avoid losing altogether. But we made our decision. We placed the risk on the table and we lost. So we'll come back and hopefully kill it the rest of the week. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully you guys have a good day. Go be active. Peace.